All right, we are back on our live. I'm sorry about the technical difficulties. We'll edit this all together a little bit later. Let me fix this here. And again, we're having trouble with Kat's webcam, so unfortunately, we're not going to see Kat unless she magically appears, in which case we will promptly bring her up for your enjoyment and amusement.
You never know.
We do have Kat's audio though, so you guys can hear that. So up here on the top right here, we have the YouTube chat, and down here on the bottom, down here on the bottom is the Facebook chat. So if you're into interacting on either of those platforms, please feel free. We are on BroBryceHealth.info. That's a Facebook group. We're on BroBryceHealth on YouTube and BroBryceHealth on Twitch. So, sorry to have lost any of you guys. We'll give you just a couple of minutes here, and while we're waiting for people to come back in, I want to bring up the new movie that just came out on Netflix and YouTube and Hulu. What is that movie, Kat?
It is, oh my goodness, you're going to ask me that and I'm going to forget the name.
Just in that moment, you forgot, like we've been talking about it.
I know, because I'm so absorbed with all the information in there. It's called The Magic Pill. It's an amazing documentary that touches on so many different lives and illnesses, that it focuses on the ketogenic diet and what that has done over a 1+ year study with different people and different illnesses, or just straight up somebody's overweight. And it's a very powerful movie, or like I said, documentary, really. There's something in it for all of us.
Yep.
It brought, I'm thinking, I mean, right now I'm just trying not to tear up because it's extremely powerful.
Yeah.
And it shows the world what eating clean can do for you. And it also tells you what the food industry is doing to us to promote bad foods that...
Yeah, let's just sum it up in saying it's
Right.
maybe the most important film of our time. If you have friends or relatives that have any kind of health issues, or they're on any kind of medication, or they're being treated for any kind of ailment whatsoever, this movie is for you, and it's for your loved ones. And we've talked about this. Kat and I have talked about this off the air, and it's, you know, it's more important than just talking about it in a stream. It's something I think we need to like set up watch parties, either online or in person or both. We need to be proactive and really speaking up about what food can do to help you. So that's, I didn't want to like spend forever on the topic, but I do want to do like a full movie review and talk about it in more in depth. But I did want to give a shout out to Pete Evans and Rob Tate for an amazing movie. And if there's any possible way that if anybody watching this can possibly reach out to Pete Evans or Rob Tate and see if they would like to speak with us, and how can we organize such workshops or any of those kind of things. Not for the sake of filmmaking, you guys already did it, but
Right.
for the sake of just getting the word out and helping people. Anyway, today's topic is that's not keto. So what is?
Right. there's a big thing that goes around. There's, between what is keto and the debate against, or not against, but between what is keto and what is low carb. And there's so much confusion out there. When I first found keto a little over 5 years ago, it was a whole different ball game. There weren't the apps. There weren't all these, buy these ketones and we're going to fix you up. It was just pure ketogenic. And nowadays, there's a lot of misinformation out there, and people are so confused when they're trying to start this way of eating. So we need to address that, and we need to show the difference between low carb and keto. And you can be in ketosis if you're low carb, as well as if you are eating a ketogenic diet. The ketogenic diet itself, or way of eating, which I prefer to call it, is more about addressing health issues than weight loss.
So I want to preface this discussion by saying that Kat and I have a little bit of different viewpoints on some of these issues, and mine is from a strictly clinical viewpoint that a ketogenic diet, and meaning just way of eating, whatever you want to call it, a ketogenic nutritional approach simply means that it is a nutritional approach that creates ketones in the body, and all that's required for that is to deplete the glucose and glycogen stores, and that means a low carbohydrate, an extremely low carbohydrate approach is what's required for a ketogenic, technically ketogenic. Now, whether you would say that something is keto friendly or not, I think that's more a question of ingredients and less about just carb count, but more about what the quality of the ingredients are. So we're going to address both those issues today, and Kat and I are going to kind of probably do a little ping pong back and forth debating along the way. But we have a whole lot of different products. In 1 second, I'm going to close this door.
And I don't necessarily think that, we do have slightly differing opinions, but I do know and understand what is truly keto. At the same time, we also have to look at the way different people are able to duplicate that in their own lives. There are things that are definitely not keto, but it's a matter of convenience or availability or time for a lot of people. So
we're also going to just openly say right here that it's more important that you take the step than you sit and obsess about the ingredients.
Right.
Right. If you are making a step toward a ketogenic lifestyle and you can't afford organic, or you can't afford something that doesn't have some soy in it, or you can't afford, if the only thing that you have available to you is still better than the last thing that you ate, then by all means, that's what we're talking about. And over time, we think that the money that you save on doctor bills is going to afford you some higher quality food over time. And over time, as you educate yourself, you're going to feel more and more motivated to eat, to make better choices with the ingredients that are in the foods that you eat. Am I right, Kat?
Absolutely, absolutely. And again, we all have our own lives that we live, and again, sometimes it's a matter of convenience over true keto and what we can do. And that's okay. We're all human and we do the best that we can. life is life. It's crazy. And
Vengeance
pretty much
asks if
that's
it's
it.
possible to
We
make.
have to work with what we have, and find our own personal ways to um, live on this way of eating. And again, we're all different. We all need different things and whatnot. So
Vengeance is asking, is it possible to make sushi keto? And I'm going to say yes. And I've seen
Dory did it.
many variations of keto sushi, ranging from cauliflower rice to miracle noodles, all different kinds of different variations. I think that the cauliflower rice variation is probably the easiest, and most people would maybe enjoy that the most. I think that it's fairly simple and straightforward to make keto sushi. All you have to do is just get rid of rice and replace it with something else.
Yeah, our friend Dory, she did that. She did that a couple of days ago.
Yeah, and the wasabi is problematic too because it's kind of high carb. So, but you don't use that much of it. It may not be that much of a problem for you. But I want to dive into this because we are kind of running late, and I would like for us to go ahead and go long on this because we have so much content. But I also want to get started on these pictures here. We both took a bunch of pictures of products and the ingredients that are on them, and we want to talk about them. So I think Kat, you can see what's on my screen, right?
Somewhat. I can see you to the left, comments in the middle, and then the right side is just like your page.
Okay, so what I've got here
now
is I've got these are at our local warehouse store. This is Alaskan salmon burgers. So you would think that's just like salmon, right? Sure, that's what you would think. Except here's the ingredients: salmon, water, soybean oil, which and contains 2% or less of the following: autolyzed yeast extract, canola oil, garlic powders fine, lemon juice, onion powder, paprika color, red beet juice concentrate. That's not keto. And natural smoke flavor. So natural flavor, what does natural flavor mean, Kat?
Exactly.
It means
What's natural
nothing.
flavor mean?
There is no requirement for them to disclose what is in natural flavor at all. So let's just clarify that. But the problem that we have here, the third ingredient here above just below water is soybean oil. And now I would say that soybean is definitely low carb. Most people would say that it's a low carb thing, especially black soybean. But I would say that soy in and of itself is not friendly to a healthy lifestyle, keto or otherwise.
Absolutely. You had discussed a little while ago about how soybeans are grown and all the chemicals that are put into them to the fertilizers and the crap to kill. I mean, literally the crap that kills the weeds and whatnot.
But even without that, so I don't want to spend a lot of time on this one, but we'll just establish that soy in and of itself, even without that, is an allergen. It's a known allergen.
Absolutely.
And it's known to be inflammatory. So there are issues outside of the GMO pesticide aspect of it. It's known to be an allergen, and it's known to be an irritant and an inflammatory. So we also have canola oil in here, which is highly inflammatory. There's no way to extract that without chemicals and a high temperature process. So there's that. So I want to go to the next one here. And the next one is Frank's Red Hot Buffalo Style Chicken Dip. Okay. I'm going to hit on some popular ones too, because and this is just one that I just saw and I thought, man, boy, that sure seems like a good thing, because Frank's Red Hot is just basically like chilies and vinegar, right?
Right.
Wrong. Okay, so
Oh my God.
here we go. We got some chicken breast with cooked rib meat. Okay, hang on. I'm gonna fix this. I really
I don't think I've ever seen a label with that. Oh my God. That's
Okay.
insane.
Okay, so we have chicken breast rib meat. We have cream cheese. That's fine. Milk and cream. That's fine. Salt. That's fine. Xanthan Gum. Okay, that's okay. It's not terrible. Ranch dressing. Water. Soybean oil. Cultured low-fat buttermilk. That's fine. A modified cornstarch. So corn, anything corn? All corn, all industrial corn is GMO. It's all BT. It's got this bacteria in it that is nasty for your stomach, and it makes holes in your gut. So all industrial corn is like that. But corn is also a grain. We avoid grain at all costs. The total carbohydrate count on this is only 1 gram. So you would think that it's keto friendly for the most part.
And then, oh my God, that's the thing. See, people, when they look at their labels, that's what they look for. Just the carbohydrates. When they're on a low carb diet or, whatever, they look at only that. They don't look at the ingredients. And that is the most important thing. You need to put that first and ignore the other.
Yeah, that's a great way to do it. Is like, first off, I would say first look at the carb count, right? Like, don't look at any of the rest of the nutritional facts. Just maybe look at the carb count, because that'll very quickly eliminate 90% of all products, right? If it's like, more than a gram or 2 of carbohydrate, then you're probably not going to look any further. But as soon as you see that it is, in fact, low carbohydrate, go right to the ingredients list immediately.
Yes.
Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. But let's go on here. We have carrageenan, it's derived from seaweed, but that's not what makes it bad. What makes it bad is the emulsification properties, specifically of carrageenan, make it act like detergent, like dishwashing detergent in your gut. And it literally washes away the healthy bacteria in your gut in a way that xanthan gum, for instance, and guar gum do not. Then we have corn syrup solids down here. Let me get down here. Corn syrup solids.
This list is insane.
Okay. Powdered cellulose. I don't know if you know this, but that's all from wood pulp. Okay. Potato starch. Starch is a carbohydrate. Turns to sugar in your gut. Okay. Sugar. So, I won't say anything too much about sugar, since, it's 1 gram of carbohydrate. Okay. But, we try to avoid sugar, but if it's in there and if it's not something that's prohibitive, at least sugar itself is not inherently, in these tiny quantities, going to be so much of a problem. But we have corn syrup solids. We know that's a GMO. Maltodextrin is just sugar. Let's look at the next one here. Accent flavor enhancer. I'm gonna let Kat do this one, because the one ingredient.
Let me see. Okay, so all right, I am
monosodium glutamate.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Okay, so what, Kat? What's monosodium glutamate? Besides
poison.
Besides the thing poison that makes you continuously hungry whenever you're.
Yeah, it absolutely does. And I'm mad. I'm sorry. I'm mad right now. Every time I see these labels, I get so mad. And
Arthur says our carbs should be spent on smaller portions of nutrient-dense natural foods, not
right. Oh my goodness.
Well,
and
Arthur,
you know what? I'm not innocent, and I'm not, I'm not perfect. And I had my little olive oil fiasco that you know about what happened
right.
Last week, and we all get in a rush, and we read that, oh look, no carbs, no carbs. Oh my God, this is great. I'm going to buy it. But it's not about no carbs. It's
Right.
about the ingredients. And
There's Todd, there's Sherry, there's Teresa. Hi, guys. Arthur is saying that he avoids the keto cupcakes and muffins and things. I am of a different opinion. I think that if those muffins and cupcakes that are keto, if they are made from real food quality ingredients, I think they're perfectly fine.
I make an
what the
amazing
previous things,
cinnamon muffin.
yeah, the problem in the previous muffins and breads that you used to eat was the ingredients that it was made of.
Right.
So if you're making it out of real food quality ingredients, I don't think it's a problem. But that doesn't address the issue that certain people have unhealthy food relationships or more advanced food issues than just nutritionally. That doesn't address that. That's a whole nother ball of wax. But as far as like nutritional value, I think that that if you're making these things out of real food, then it's fine.
It needs to be said that the ketogenic way of eating was developed to help health issues, and it wasn't a weight loss way of eating.
Yeah.
It was weight
Well, for
loss is a
10,000
side
years of human history, it was just eating.
Right. So, I mean, when it was put together, and I'm talking way back in the 1900s, I think what I have learned, the first studies started about 1911. In the 1920s, they were starting to implement that into child epilepsy centers, and it is still implemented in children's epilepsy centers around the world, because it's been found that when you eat the right things and you're eating healthy and clean, it is going to help your overall health.
Yeah.
It's not weight loss. This was not developed to be
It was
a way
developed for
to
overall
lose weight.
health. Yeah. So
That was
the next victim that we have here is the Frank's Redhot seasoning. Okay. Now you guys know, I've said it before, I'm a fan of the Redhot sauce, like the Frank's Redhot sauce. It's zero carbs. It's, Kat, wouldn't you agree? It's the Frank's Redhot sauce is amazing.
Well, yeah. I mean, I live in southern Louisiana. What you think?
So here we have the seasoning. That just seems like, boy, that's like we're not going to have to deal with the liquid. But let's look at the ingredients here. So we have cayenne pepper sauce. It's a dehydrated blend of the Frank's Redhot cayenne pepper sauce. That's fine. The cayenne pepper, distilled vinegar, garlic powder. That's fine. Oh, but now we have maltodextrin added. That's a sugar, by the way. Then we have garlic powder, we have spice, sugar. Then we have canola oil. It's added as a processing aid, so canola oil. And then we have tricalcium phosphate. I'm not sure what that is.
Exactly what is that?
And then silicone dioxide. So if you just go up here to where it says a dehydrated blend of, right here where it says Frank's Redhot cayenne pepper sauce, aged cayenne peppers, distilled vinegar, salt, and garlic powder, that's all that's in the sauce. All this other stuff is added to the seasoning. So we've already touched on canola oil. We've addressed that maltodextrin is just sugar. Arthur says people too busy tracking the macros while overlooking the micronutrients. I think that it's an important tool for people to learn how to track their macros in the beginning. I don't think that everybody has to continue to, but they should be focusing on nutrient-dense foods. But tracking your macros gives you at least an idea what portion size looks. So Teresa says she's so guilty of not reading the ingredients. We're gonna get into some more popular stuff too. Oh, oh, this is Kat's, isn't it?
Yep.
Oh my
Yep. I
goodness.
had seen I tried out a recipe for some keto Cheetos, so to speak. And everyone said, "Oh my God, grab that! Put that on it. There's different flavors, and
You know what?
you
This
know."
stuff made me sick. This stuff made me like straight up super sick.
And I
Um,
had no idea. Again, I'm not perfect. I'm guilty of it. I've picked things up that other people have recommended, and then I trust that and don't read the labels, and then yeah, I get
oh my
this
goodness.
crap.
So
Look,
here we go.
crap.
We got the cheddar cheese. That's fine. Cheese, cheese cultures, all that stuff. Maltodextrin. That's sugar. We just addressed that.
Yep.
Soybean oil. Okay, that's what we talked about, an allergen, and it's inflammatory. And well, the industrial stuff is all full of pesticides, but that's beside the point. Lactose, which is just a milk sugar. Okay, that's just milk sugar, nothing else, just milk sugar. Lactic acid, salt, whey, buttermilk, solids. Dextrose, that's just sugar. Hydrolyzed corn protein. So we're talking about corn again. We're getting into that BT. We're getting into that GMO
Yep.
thing. And, I don't want to get into a whole like anti-Monsanto rant, but, corn is a grain, so it has a high glycemic index, but this is just the protein probably. And, but it is from a grain, and we just avoid it. So we're just going to get rid of that. We're going to throw this one out. This one goes in the trash.
And you know what? Everybody who's watching, you are not doing anything bad. We're all trying to learn this way of eating, and
We're just
the
trying to
food
draw
industry,
attention to how important the ingredients list actually
right?
is.
The
That's all.
food industry makes these beautiful labels on the front saying, "Oh my
Yeah, look
goodness,
at
there's
this.
no fat, there's
I
no
mean,
calories, there's sugar-free,
look at
and
this.
everything
Half the
else."
sodium,
And
five
that,
times the protein. Look at this
right?
beautiful golden chicken stock.
Exactly, and it draws everybody in. So if you're using these products, it's
Didn't your
not your fault.
grandma use this?
Food
I mean,
industry's fault for mislabeling and
hang on a second.
misleading you
You know what I
into
see on this
buying
label?
product.
You know what I see on this label that's amazing? This right here says gluten free.
Exactly.
Now, guys, this is the first time I've been made aware that chickens don't inherently contain gluten. Because gluten is from grain. Yeah, gluten is from grain. You mean chickens aren't made of grain?
Exactly.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Okay. So
See?
hang on. We're gonna go find that here. My stuff isn't in order, but here we go. Chicken stock, natural chicken flavor, which means nothing. Okay. That means nothing. You know those chicken biscuits. Those things have natural chicken flavor too, and there's nothing chicken about them. Sea salt, honey. Honey is just sugar.
Sugar.
Cooked vegetable stock, which is celery, carrot, onion. Okay. Carrots have a lot of nutrients in them, but they do have a lot of sugar in them. We're looking at this carb count up here. That's not terrible, but we've already hit that it's got honey in it, which is just sugar. And then natural flavor again. Boy, that natural flavor sure gets around. It seems sort of sleazy. So yeah, that's our chicken stock, which has more than just chicken.
And the thing about the carbs again is the ketogenic way of eating is not about. It is about low carb, but it's about healing ourselves. It's about food for healing, taking care of our bodies. Low carb is a whole different ball game. Stuff like this would be absolutely allowed on a low carb diet. But when you are on a ketogenic way of eating, it's a whole different ball game. It's getting rid of the irritants and things that are going to hurt us.
Now, I know we're running long today. We're running long. We're gonna go way past the top of the hour because we were running late and we didn't get the technical difficulties straightened out. But I'm gonna do the book giveaway now. So Kat will chime in, I'm sure, on many of these titles, but I like hit the jackpot at the thrift store for books. Okay, so you guys are gonna love me. Now, during the book giveaway, which is now until the end of this stream, you can just say you're interested in the book. The first person to say they're interested in the book gets a book, and you can PM me the details on Facebook, Twitch, or YouTube, or you can email me if you know my email address. So I'm not going to tell you. And that is just telling me it's 5 o'clock. But we're going to run way long. So I'm going to start out the book giveaway. We have this book by Dana Carpenter, and that is 500 low-carb recipes. I have this in my personal collection. I did screen this. I did notice that there are a few recipes that have things like soy sauce in them. I would say find a healthy substitute for soy sauce. So like coconut aminos is
coconut aminos. Yep.
Yep. But for the most part, this recipe book is just chock full of like keto friendly things. There's also a lot of recipes that call for Splenda, and I am not a big proponent of Splenda. I would say pick your sweetener of choice. I would say monk fruit extract, stevia, and erythritol would be 3 that I would choose from.
Yeah, those.
But sweetened to taste. And most of these recipes are just slam dunk keto-friendly, low-carb recipes. 500 of them. Now, all these are thrift store finds. Teresa says she's interested in the book. So you get a book. So so give me a minute to go through the book so you can tell me which one that you're interested in. 15-minute low-carb recipes, also by Dana. And this is real shortcut recipes. Again, she is one that uses like a certain set of ingredients. Most of them are almost slam dunk keto friendly. I would say like this one here, this one recipe has half a cup of mayonnaise in it. I would say make your own mayonnaise. I got a recipe for mayonnaise on the BroBryceHealth group. There's a recipe for it, so look it up. You can
egg yolk and oil, that's all it takes.
Yeah, I got a real simple, stupid, simple recipe for like slam dunk, never fail mayonnaise. And so we have Dr. Atkins carbohydrate gram counter. This is like a pocket thing. This is from 2002. And this has like fat grams, protein grams, carbohydrate, calories. Then we have the complete book of food counts by Corinne Netzer. And this is a lot more comprehensive. This one's from, I think, 2003. We have, this one is just a gold mine here. Grain Brain by David Perlmutter. And I'm not sure I'm saying that right, David, but if you wish to correct me, please contact me. I would just, I would just be fangirling if David Perlmutter called me and or whatever. If you want to correct me, I'm just going to be like, yes, David. But David Perlmutter wrote Grain Brain, and it teaches you all about why you should never eat grain. We have right here by Michael and Mary Dan Eads, Protein Power Life Plan. This is an actual diet plan. This is a very low-carb diet plan. I would say that Michael and Mary Dan Eads are very protein-centric, less fat-centric, but they're not afraid of fat. That's one thing that you'll find that's very consistent. And Michael Eads, if you're not familiar with him, is the guy who came up with the concept of net carbohydrates. He says that he regrets that, but he'll tell you why. Then we have Why We Get Fat and What to Do About It. This is by Gary Taubes. This is an amazing book by an amazing science writer, and he writes in here about all of the history of why we get fat, and then he also cites studies, and then he has in here a food list to get you started, and that is a fantastic ketogenic lifestyle resource. Like if you want to get started with like a real simple guide on how to just straighten it out, People have reversed their diabetes just by following the instructions in just a few pages of his food list. Then we have the new Atkins for New You. This is written by Dr. Eric Westman, Dr. Stephen Finney, and Jeff Volek. And all those authors are like, you know, kind of American Idol celebrities in the ketogenic world. I will say that this book is an Atkins book. They do refer to ketosis as the Atkins advantage rather than saying ketosis. And they do promote a lot of Atkins products. Atkins also talks about reintroducing grains. That said, millions of people have had their lives transformed through this book. And I'll just start with just saying Tim Noakes, who is on trial with the Health Practitioners Council of South Africa currently. He read this book, and that's what got him turned on to the ketogenic lifestyle. So any one of those books, and Teresa can have it, because she did say she's interested in the book, like right off the money. So yeah, PM me your details, and I will mail you whichever book of your choosing, as long as you're in the United States. If you're not in the United States, then I will still send you the book for free, but you have to come to my front door, and then I'll deliver it to you for free. Yes. Yes. So the 15-minute cookbook. Thank you, Teresa. She's getting the 15-minute cookbook, and next week you guys will be taking a shot at the rest of them. Let's go on with some more of our slideshow. Kat, are you still with us?
I'm here.
Okay. We got some beef stock here. That's a good source of protein, and it's also gluten-free. Did you notice that? It's gluten-free. Isn't that amazing that cows are not made of grain? Okay, so yeah, let's look at this. Let's see, there it is. Okay, so we have beef stock, sea salt, honey. Okay, honey, that's just sugar. And then we have the onion. We have sugar syrup. Wait a minute. That's sugar syrup?
Right.
Caramelized, hang on, caramelized sugar syrup. Is that like sugar with sugar on it? That's been
exactly.
That's been made into
what
sugar?
the hell is that?
Yeah, that's crazy. Like how many levels of sugar are there? Is this like the 9th gate of hell or something? What is it? Okay. All right. Yeah, that seems to be all that's wrong with that is just the sugary sugar, the particularly sugary type of sugar that they're sugaring up on this. But it is only 1 gram of carbohydrate if you were just looking at the carb count. But it's honey and sugar. So yeah, hidden sugars in everything. And here's the big thing. Here's the big problem with this, okay? It's not so much that there's sugar in it. Here's the big problem. Sugar shouldn't be in it, and it doesn't have to be in beef stock. I mean, that's really, I mean, that's the thing that you should be asking yourself. Why is it there? That's right. That's the big thing, okay? It's not, oh, dread, there's sugar in there, because there's still only 1 gram of carbohydrate. But here's the thing. It doesn't need sugar in it. So why is it there?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. I mean, when I do my cooking, I say all the time, I talk a lot about salt. Salt is what marries flavors together. But what the hell with all the sugar and everything? Even, you know, growing up, I love Italian food. I love Italian food. And so many people put sugar in their pasta sauce, and it's like, why? You don't need it. What are you doing? And that's, I mean, I believe that because all of us, the states, everywhere across the, I mean, in all countries, there is a sugar addiction.
Yeah.
I believe that.
That's why it's
so
there.
They add that sugar in.
That's why
to
it's
keep
there.
you going back for more and more and more.
That's why it is, and it's to get you acclimated to the sweet flavors that don't need to be there. That's really what it is. It's more about getting you acclimated to having things be sweet all the time. That's really what it is. Okay, it's not there for any other reason, because beef stock does not need sugar. It just doesn't. If you want your stuff to be sweet, then you can add sweet to it. But beef stock is not inherently sugary. It's just not.
Nope.
This is one of my favorite ones right here, the McCormick taco seasoning, and then Taco Bell has their own too. But taco seasoning mix. Now, this is fantastic. I just love this, and it talks about how many spices. It has no MSG and all this nonsense. Let's go look at it. Okay, let's find it here. That's not it. Yeah, that is it. That's the McCormick seasoning. Okay, so we have spices, including chili, pepper. Now, here's the thing. Okay, when it says spices, right? Spices, again, that's like natural flavors. They're not required to disclose it. And here's what they do here. This is really interesting. They say including chili pepper, paprika, and oregano. Okay, that should say including, but not necessarily
everything that's in there.
Right. Including, but not limited to.
Right.
Chili pepper, paprika, oregano. There could be something else in there that they don't choose to say anything about. Or it may just be like whatever they get. But let's go on, okay? Because spices are not, we're not allergic to spices. Or, you know, most of us aren't. And we're not against spices. Not at all. Spices are the spice of life. We love spices. So there's onion in here. There's potato starch. Now, potato starch is known to be used as an anti-caking agent. And that, I think, is how they're using it here in particular. But it is a carbohydrate. It does turn straight to sugar, like straight to sugar. And then there's sugar. So, again, something that does not inherently need to have sugar in it, has sugar in it, for no other reason than to get you acclimated to it being sweet. So we have that going on. And that's just, so if you just look at this, okay, chili pepper, paprika, oregano, and we could do that at home, right? My wife, she just makes one with like chili powder, onion, garlic, and cumin, and it's amazing. It's like rock star chili, you know, rock star taco seasoning, and it's dirt cheap. Like you just
I make my own as well, and yeah, it's cheap. And I mean, when I make I have several things that I do, several different seasonings, like taco seasoning or a jerk rub or whatever, and I make it my own, and it lasts so long. I mean, you know, people are like, oh my God, I gotta buy all these spices and everything else, but it's so much cheaper than that crap you're buying in the packet.
Yep.
You know, if you make it in bulk, it lasts forever. So you're spending like $1 for one little packet of poison, as opposed to $2 for several different uses.
Vengeance says his mom made him keto chicken fajitas. Congratulations, man. That sounds great. That's a fantastic thing. Teresa says she used to put a little sugar in her pasta sauce and green beans. And again, Teresa, I think that maybe that might be something that, like, you're accustomed to a sweeter flavor, and so you just by nature you're thinking, oh, this needs a little bit of sweetness. And I talked a little bit. There's a video that I have on the BroBryceHealth. I won't get into it too much here, but there's a video I did on the BroBryceHealth Facebook group called Eating My Emotions. And I talked about hacking that sugar, that brain sugar link, and what the brain sugar link that makes us crave the sugar in those pasta sauces and stuff is. But you know, we can use the sweetener of our choice to do that. I find that more and more we need less and less of it. But we have this one here is a fan favorite right here, the beef bouillon, right? Because that's that's prescribed by dozens of keto gurus, perhaps hundreds of keto gurus, for like remedy for the keto flu. Am I right?
Right.
Okay, so Kat, what's the problem with beef bouillon.
Holy crap. Look at what's in it.
Oh,
look
wait.
at that.
Okay,
1 cube. Look at that list. Is that not ridiculous?
First thing is palm. The first thing
Palm
is salt.
oil.
Salt's fine. Salt's fine. But palm oil. Okay, palm oil is a refined oil. It's not coconut oil. Okay, so just get that out of your head. It's not coconut oil. It's a type of refined, what they call a vegetable oil. It's not a vegetable oil at all, but it is it's palm oil from a tree, and it's not. It is a refined oil that is done by a heat and chemical process, and it's inflammatory. The third ingredient is monosodium glutamate. So we already talked about that. That's just toxic waste. Cornstarch, again, turns to sugar. Then it has sugar, which turns to sugar. Then it has hydrogenated palm oil, which is further inflammatory because hydrogenated, here, let me address what hydrogenated mean. Okay, they take an oil and they bombard it with hydrogen atoms until it is no longer biodegradable. It is no longer something that can be broke down by a natural process at all. It can't be broke down in your gut. And in fact, if you leave hydrogenated oils or shortening, or say the old Golden Soft, the old dependable Golden Soft, out in the garage for 6 months, a year, 3 years, bugs won't touch it, rats won't touch it. And you know why? Because it's not food. Okay, so there we have it. Dory says, shared and invited. Thank you. And Sherry says she's got to go to leadership meeting. Catch you later. Okay, we'll catch the replay later. So we just like gone through only the first few things, and now we finally get to beef powder. And then the next ingredient is hydrolyzed corn protein again. Maltodextrin, which is just what, Kat?
It's poison.
It's sugar, is what it is.
Right. Sugar, 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 sugar. The entire label is sugar, sugar, sugar. One type of sugar to the next. It's the lie that the food industry puts out there. They make a name up for whatever to try to conceal what is really in what you are eating. It's horrifying, really.
Oh my goodness. So we went through those, and those are absolutely amazing. Let's look at this one here, because this is, I'm just going to be honest here. This is my vice. I just finished one today. Okay, so I'm being honest with you guys. Okay, this is, and I'm one of those guys. I'm like the guy that you asked the keto questions, and here's one of my vices. Okay, so this is a Rockstar sugar-free energy drink, right? 0 carbs, 0 sugar. And it's got the taurine, and it's got the caffeine, and it's got all the wonderful B vitamins, because we all know we need B vitamins, especially if they're coming from a sugar-free Rockstar, right, Kat?
Right.
Okay. So let's go through the ingredients here. We have carbonated water, citric acid. Let me zoom in on this, because we just totally need to zoom in on this, okay? Carbonated water, citric acid, taurine, sodium citrate, guarana seed, caffeine, caramel, color, natural and artificial flavors, which means nothing. That tells you nothing.
Right.
Glucuronolactone, sorbic acid, benzoic acid, asulfate, sucralose. Okay, sucralose is what's in Splenda. It is a sugar alcohol, and it is known to kill off gut bacteria. Of these ingredients, okay, of all of these ingredients, I would say that's the one that I can pick out and identify and say that one is one that I would choose not to have in my life. ACE K is also this ACE sulfate potassium. Now, what we would urge any of you guys to do is take these ingredients, like, pause the video, go Google this ingredient, okay? And Google that ingredient, like ACE sulfate, sulfame, potassium, and sucralose, hazards. Look up hazards with it, and just, do the information yourself. So this is not something that I would recommend to anyone, but it is one of my guilty pleasures. So in bringing this one up, I wanted to show you guys that none of us are perfect, right? And we all do stuff for convenience or for cravings, and it's better than falling off the deep end, and it's certainly better than what I used to do with my life, but it's definitely not the best case scenario.
Look what happened to me with my olive oil.
Oh yeah, the olive oil, the fake olive oil. The not actually olive oil at all olive oil.
Yeah, I was in a rush. I went to the grocery store and I needed some olive oil. I was short on it, and I looked at the brand that I normally buy, and then quickly to the right of it was another olive oil, and it said buy one get one, and I was like so super excited. I was like, oh my god, I mean, because olive oil, any of our oils, they're expensive, and because I was in a rush, I didn't look clearly at the bottle, and I got it home, and then the next day I went to use it, and it was what? It
was not olive oil.
20% olive oil. The rest was canola. I was like, you know what Dory says.
Okay, with the oils, I'll just say this. Okay, of all of the olive oils, there's only a couple of brands of olive oil that you know for sure are not just fake olive oil, because they use fake ingredients. Like they use chlorophyll to color it, and they'll use artificial flavoring to make it taste like olive oil. So it's just diabolical. And it'll just be olive oil labeled as straight up olive oil, and it's actually just not olive oil at all. It'd be like canola oil or something.
Right. So I mean, we're all human, and we make mistakes. Like I said, I was in a rush. I went to grab my normal that I know is real olive oil, and again, right next to it, I was like, oh, score, boom, boom, let's put it in the cart, and no.
And if you guys have, and I see that there's a couple of keto groups popping up here, the My Colorful Keto Buddy, Dory, and Teresa's got her group posted in here. And if you guys have a keto group, feel free to paste a link into my stream here, and I'll be happy to honor that. That's great. Benjamin says he's going to take a picture of it to put it in the Facebook group. Your mom made the chicken fajitas. He's going to take a picture of it and put it in the Facebook group. That's awesome. Thank you. And yeah, Nicole says 5-hour energy is my vice. Yes. Here we have some. Now these are some products that I found in the health food aisle. So like, where the bars and stuff are for nutrition, bars and stuff. So we're going to go through some of these. This is Robert Irvine's Fit Crunch Whey Protein Bar. Now look at this pretty packaging. It looks like, you have a fit older gentleman who and it's birthday cake naturally flavored. First off, let's just say oxymoron. Then here we go. Okay, so our first ingredient is protein blend, whey protein isolate. I'm going to get into that in a second, okay? And then whey protein concentrate. We'll get into the whey protein in just a second. I'll come back to that. But the next thing we see is soy protein isolate. So what do we say about soy? It's all of the stuff that's in here is going to be the industrialized stuff, because it doesn't say organic on it, so we know. And even organic soy is really hard to determine because of cross-pollination. But soy protein is going to be inflammatory. It's going to be particularly inflammatory. Then we have palm oil, which is an inflammatory vegetable oil. Vegetable glycerin, that's fine. But when they say vegetable and they don't specify which vegetable, let me just say this. It's either canola or soy.
Right.
Sugar. Then we have vegetable oils. Here they specify palm and palm kernel. So again, these are just palm oil. Okay.
Poison.
Maltitol. Maltitol is also known to some people as X-Lax. It is a laxative sugar alcohol. It is particularly used usually in a chocolate sugar coating setting, or it's known for having the ability to harden. So you have these hardened shells on protein bars and stuff that's usually sweetened with milk.
Oh, these ingredients are insane.
Sorbitol, which is just sugar. The sugar alcohol, but it has a high glycemic index. Then we have gelatin, which is fine, but we have corn syrup. That's just sugar. And in particularly, it's a fructose sugar. So it's only processed in the liver. So if you're trying to fight off fatty liver disease or fatty pancreas, corn syrup is not going to help you. Then we have 2% of the following, 2% or less of the following: cornstarch, which is just sugar; brown rice flour, which turns to what, Kat?
Sugar.
Turns to sugar. Then we have maltodextrin, which is
Sugar.
Then we have sunflower oil, which is
Crap.
it's an inflammatory vegetable oil. Then we have soybean oil, which, okay, again, we're just sort of repeating ourselves.
Sugar.
Then we have soy lecithin. So lecithin is not the same as soy lecithin, because soy lecithin comes from soy, and so it has an inflammatory factor. Now, here we have sodium caseinate, which is casein, which is the protein that is strictly from milk. It's the milk protein. It's found in goat's milk. It's found in yak's milk. It's found in milk altogether. But what is the thing about this? I'll mention sodium caseinate briefly in the context of the China study. T. Colin Campbell analyzed the results of the China study and came to the conclusion that a high protein diet is inflammatory. But that result was based on a study that only used sodium caseinate, the milk protein, as the subject of the study. So here's the problem with that. Before that study was ever done, sodium caseinate was already known to be inflammatory. It's an allergen. It's a known allergen. It's known to be inflammatory. It's known to be problematic with a number of vast population of people. So sodium caseinate is problematic in just about everybody, even people who aren't lactose intolerant. And a lot of people who think they're lactose intolerant are actually just allergic to sodium caseinate. But then we have propylene glycol monoesters. So some of you know that propylene glycol is antifreeze. But let me go on to talk about propylene glycol for just a second, because propylene glycol technically is antifreeze. But when we were growing up, antifreeze was a problem because it was sweet and it was colorful, and kids would drink it and they would die. Back then, propylene glycol was not used as antifreeze. There was something else that was used as antifreeze that was far more toxic than propylene glycol. Propylene glycol is now used as an antifreeze because it's less toxic than the old antifreeze used to be. So don't get all freaked out when you see propylene glycol being used. It was used in food long before it was used as antifreeze. So don't get freaked out when you see it in your extracts and your sweeteners and your food coloring. It's maybe not the best case scenario, but it's not inherently evil. Then we have mono and diglycerides. Okay, fine. Sucralose, that's our sweetener again. That's our sugar alcohol that kills our gut bacteria. Whey, vitamin A palmitate, silicone dioxide. That's used as an anti-caking agent. But here we're using it in a baking birthday cake bar. And then milk, soy, peanut, and almond products. You want to talk about peanuts for a second, Kat?
Peanuts are not, they're not in the same family as your regular nuts.
That's because they're not a nut.
What?
That's because they're not a nut.
It is not. It is not. And it is one of the biggest allergens, or people are found to be allergic to it. Much more than any other nuts. My friend's daughter has a severe nut allergy, but she can eat peanuts and be fine with it. It's not the same thing. So the information that's out there about nut allergies is also for the most part incorrect. They group peanuts into it. You see on your labels that this is processed in a place that may have peanuts and blah, blah, blah. But it's not the same. Yep. It's just not the same.
So I'll talk about peanuts for a second too. Dr. Axe has a video and a blog post, so I'm not going to totally repeat everything that he says. But most industrial peanuts are farmed in such a way to where they're close to the ground, and they develop a lot of moisture, and they develop molds. Those molds are what most people have an allergic reaction to with peanuts.
There you go.
That's the main thing that most people are having an allergic reaction to with industrialized peanuts. So you can get certain kinds of nuts, peanuts that are grown in the jungle. They're on tall trees. They don't hang close to the ground. They don't develop a lot of moisture, and so they don't get moldy typically. And those are highly expensive, but they're you can obtain them, and you can get peanuts that are made from. You can get peanut butter that is made from those kind of nuts, and or those kind of peanuts anyway. Legumes, which means it's basically like a bean. Just like cashews. Cashews are not a true nut. They're a legume. The other problem with peanuts is that they have a very super high omega-6 ratio. So they're going to like completely spike your omega-3 to 6 ratio way out of whack, unless you're like downing tremendous amounts of fish oil or something to balance that out. So in limited quantities, peanut butter of a jungle variety might not be all that harmful for you, but I would say it's just not the best case scenario. We have contains milk, which we're not afraid of as long as we're getting the right parts of the milk. And then we're talking about milk, soy, wheat. They're processed in a plant that processes soy, wheat. You know what? I'm not, almost most plants do process these things. That's not what I'm freaked out about the most. Mostly I'm freaked out about what's actually in the ingredients. You can only do so much. But this is honestly just a terrible product. That's the Robert Irvine Fit Crunch. And you're all going to be like, hey, Bryce, why don't you tell us how you really feel?
Well, the thing is you have these big celebrities that put their name and their face on it. And the food industry is so misleading. They just want to make money. They put all these wonderful labels on the front that you are like, oh my God, I have to have this. The celebrities endorse it. So, oh, well, if he's getting it or she's getting it, then it must be amazing. And then we don't turn our product over and read the labels to see what is really there. We're just going with the, oh my God, oh, my my king, my queen, my angel, they said this is great, so I have to go, and it must be because they said it is. Yeah. And that is like such a huge problem in our food industry is, people are promoting this as like such a wonderful and amazing thing, and we're suckers.
I'm gonna come back to this.
I hate to say it like that, but we are.
I'm going to come back to the whey protein isolate here because I said I would. Up here at the top of the list is the whey protein isolate. So that's actually a common ingredient in a lot of keto products and a lot of keto recipes even. Like I make a cheesecake that one of the ingredients in the crust is a whey protein isolate, a vanilla whey protein isolate. I'm not afraid of the stuff, but let's just say this. When it's consumed on a regular basis, it does tend to stall people in their weight loss. Whey can also have an inflammatory effect in some people who don't tolerate it very well. So I would say it's not the best case scenario to eat something like whey protein isolate on a regular basis. The other thing I'm going to say about whey protein isolate is, especially like the powdered forms, this applies mostly to the powdered forms because that's what's used as a supplement. You don't need to supplement protein. What you need to do is eat protein. You just need to eat some food that has protein in it. Let's just settle that right there. Just eat some proteins, preferably fatty food that has protein in it. Your body needs protein, but you can get it from better sources than whey protein. So I don't want to spend a lot of time like blasting whey protein isolate, but you know, it can be problematic for some people. The next one I want to touch on is like maybe the total most popular keto product of all time, right here. Am I right, Kat?
Yes, I've seen a lot of talk about these, but yeah. I haven't tried them personally. I haven't wanted to. So, yeah, discuss for sure. No.
The food industry is made to kill people. Don't know if it's on purpose or just to avoid the big cost of production. But either way, it's criminal. You know, I think the food industry is really just out to increase its profit margin. And sometimes I think maybe they get kickbacks for things that maybe end people's lives sooner. But yeah, that's possible. I'm just speculating. But
it does sound all conspiracy theory and whatnot. But over the years, working in the health industry for chiropractors and the homeopathic side, I'm telling you.
You look at what's happening to Gary Fettke, who is an orthopedic surgeon in Australia that is being silenced. He's the only orthopedic surgeon in all of medical history that cannot tell his patients who are diabetic to reduce their sugar intake. He cannot give them any dietary advice. He's the only orthopedic surgeon in all of medical history ever to be banned from speaking about nutrition.
Yep, and it goes back. I mean, there are stories, there are instances that I am aware of way back when all the, before all these artificial solutions were created, people were using natural remedies, plants and whole foods, and there have been one, I know in particular, a nurse. She was treating people with different illnesses, including cancer, and it was working with all natural and whole foods and clean eating. And the FDA came in there and they wanted to buy her out basically and put this stuff on the line for people with cancer. And she said, sure, you can, but you can't charge them. I'll give you what I have, but it has to be free. And the FDA declined and ultimately destroyed her. She went to prison 3 different times because she kept trying to bring that up and treat people and help people. And yeah, the stuff is out there. And I know that sounds so crazy and conspiracy.
Yeah, watch the magic pill and you'll just have a hard time believing that.
I know. I watched it. It's crazy. The stuff, food is a healing agent. It's what we all need to. We all have the inherent ability to heal ourselves. We just have to have the right tools, and the foods we eat are those tools.
And Quest is not that food.
Right.
I want to say hi to Maggie and Leonie, and Teresa says she tried the chips and they were disgusting. Leonie says everything we eat these days is laced with adulterated chemicals and inferior ingredients. Is shocking. Yes, I would say that. So I'm going to look at these Quest bars because they're really, really popular. And I will say I've tried them. They're yummy. But here's why. The protein blend, again, we're talking about the milk protein isolate, which is a whey protein. And then we have whey protein isolate. So milk protein isolate, that's going to be the sodium caseinate. And then whey protein isolate. So the milk protein, the sodium caseinate we talked about is inflammatory. Whey protein isolate, which has its own problems, which we just discussed. Soluble corn fiber. So we're talking about corn again as a grain. We avoid grains when we're doing keto. And even though it's just the corn fiber, all industrial corn today is GMO, and it's BT corn specifically. So if you want to look up BT corn hazards, that's what you should do. You do your own research. Almonds, water, unsweetened chocolate, that's fine. We're big fans of unsweetened chocolate. That's like vitamins. We have erythritol, which is not necessarily a problematic sweetener, but you know, it may be problematic for some people. Then we have, we go natural flavors, which means nothing. Sea salt, sucralose, steviol glycoside. So they're basically saying stevia extract, basically. But sucralose being that sugar alcohol that causes gut problems. And then they're talking about, you know, the soy, wheat, all that stuff that gets processed in the same plant. But mainly I would say the problems in this are the milk protein isolate, which is going to be the sodium caseinate, and then the soluble corn fiber and the sucralose. So these are not quality ingredients. So here's another thing that I want to address here, right here on the nutritional facts. 21 grams of carbohydrate, and 14 of those are fiber, and then 3 of those are erythritol. So I'm not going to talk about the erythritol too much. I would say that it's said to have a 0 glycemic index. Keto Connect has a great video where they test out a bunch of sweeteners, including erythritol. I would recommend that video highly to anyone. They actually test them with ketone meters and blood glucose meters. So it's really a great little N=2 study with 2 people anyway. But this issue here where we're taking dietary fiber away from our total carbohydrate, this fiber is not an essential nutrient. And anyone who's gone full-on carnivore will tell you that it's more about having an electrolyte balance than it is about having a massive amount of dietary fiber. Only thing that dietary fiber does is it's the #1 cause of irritable bowel syndrome, and it causes you to just have big poop. So if you want to have big poop, it's a great thing to do, is eat a whole bunch of Quest bars. You still there, Kat?
I'm here.
Okay. So let's touch on pure protein bars. These are probably maybe the second most popular protein bar on the market. And these ones here, they have, let's see, they have 20 grams of protein, which is great. 2 grams of sugar and 200 calories. I don't care about calories, but
you know, it's so super easy to make your own things.
Yes, you make your own goodies super easy. Let's look at this. Chocolate flavored coating, maltitol, which is that X-lax sweetener that I talked about. Fractionated palm kernel oil, which is a refined vegetable oil.
So gross.
Whey protein concentrate, which we already discussed that a little bit. Cocoa processed with alkali, that's fine. Calcium carbonate, that's fine. Soy lecithin, so we want to avoid soy. Sucralose, which is that sugar alcohol that destroys gut bacteria. Peanut flour, which we would like to avoid peanuts. I mean, it just happens that I particularly chose a peanut, peanut butter flavored bar, so that's in there. Then there's protein blend, which has milk protein isolate, which is going to be that sodium caseinate, whey protein isolate, which we talked about that, and then whey protein concentrate, which is not isolated, which means whey would have also some of its sugar in it. Glycerin, maltitol syrup, again, maltitol, the X-lax stuff. Soy crisps. So, okay, let's
what the hell is soy crisps?
Okay, I'm going to talk about this for just a second, okay? Basically, what it is soy protein isolate, tapioca starch. And you know that tapioca is made with soy, so let's just be clear on that. So basically, it's like if you took Rice Krispies that were made of soy, right? Like if they were like soggy, wet, like soy curd kind of thing, right? And then dried it out. Okay, that's basically what you have here. These crispy little Rice Krispie things that are made of soy protein isolate. So that's really what it is. And soy is, again, that industrial stuff that has all the GMO stuff. Peanuts, peanut oil. Peanut oil is inflammatory. There's nothing good about peanut oil. It's to extract it requires a high temperature and a chemical process, and it is inflammatory. Then you have sucrose, which is just sugar. Natural flavors, which means nothing. Sucralose, which means, again, okay, we talked about that. So, yeah. Contains milk, soy, peanut, and tree nut almond ingredients. So, yeah. Problematic. Quest bars are problematic altogether. They are a terrible food. Oh, these are the pure protein bars. So, they're no better. And, in fact, they're worse than the Quest bars. Oh, here's...
Seriously, though, I mean, you can grab yourself some, you know, keto-friendly nuts and seeds and whatnot. And, I mean, just, I have a coffee grinder, and that's what I do to grind, you know, different seeds or nuts or whatnot. And simply make your own. And with, like, a coconut oil binder, whatever, it's just, it's just ridiculous.
Teresa
and
says,
it's simple and easy to do it at home, but because of our society, which is the, you know, instant fix, the right now, people don't even consider that. But it is right now, and you can have it in your own kitchen. You don't have to grab this crap.
Thanks for letting me know, Blazing. Blazing's saying my mic is lower, so I'm trying to raise it up here. It looks like, yeah, some problems with my gain level. We have in a supermarket, 80 to 90% of the food here helps people to die sooner than they should. It's crazy. And then Teresa says, other than maltitol being a laxative, does it spike our insulin resistance? So insulin resistance is not something you spike. It's something that you develop over time as a result of your insulin being high for long periods of time. But it does spike your blood sugar a certain amount. Maltitol has a glycemic index. I would check and look at the glycemic index of artificial sweeteners. So far, we haven't really had any trolls, Vengeance. But thank you. I do want to give a big shout out to Vengeance for moderating over there on the YouTube side, and to Donna Lawrence, that gadget girl who is probably lurking over there on Twitch and doing her business moderating over there. And I want to talk about Boost. And the reason why I want to talk about Boost is because this is something that is recommended for diabetics. So notice there's no carb count on the front of this, but this is recommended for seniors, and it's recommended for diabetics specifically. Okay. And the Australian Diabetes Association and the American Diabetes Association recommend Boost for diabetics. So let's look at what's in Boost. Okay. Let me get in here and try and magnify this. Oops, here we go. I know that I can zoom. There we go. There we go. Now we can zoom. So let's look here. Water, corn syrup. Let's look at this total carbohydrates over here. 33 grams of total carbohydrates. Of that is 15 grams of it is sugar, and 0 of it is dietary fiber, which tells me that the rest is what I call scary carb. Okay. We have water, corn syrup, sugar. So what is corn syrup, Kat? Kat, are you there? Did I lose you, Kat? Kat must have had to run off for a second. Okay. I lost you, Kat. Oh, she did run off. So
I'm here. I'm sorry.
There she is.
I lost you for a second there.
So we're looking at the ingredients on Boost. What is corn syrup?
Sugar.
Okay, then sugar. And the milk protein concentrate, that's that sodium caseinate, that's the milk protein. Vegetable oil, which is canola oil, high oleic sunflower, and corn oil. All three inflammatory vegetable oils.
Right.
Then we have cocoa processed with alkali. That's fine. Soy protein isolate. Again, inflammatory and allergen and so on and so forth. Calcium caseinate, which is like a calcium protein type thing, and sodium caseinate. Again, milk protein.
Sodium, salt.
Salt is fine. We love salt. Salt's our friend. So.
And yeah, and I mean in moderation, but yeah, a lot of these products they just like overwhelm it, just pound it in, so it becomes bad. So
I supplement a lot of salt, so I'm not sure. Yeah, salt is your friend.
It is.
Cellulose gel. So what's cellulose from? Wood pulp. Cellulose gel comes from wood pulp. Cellulose, you get that cellulose pulp. It just comes from wood pulp. So like what you see when you see cellulose powder in your cheese, that's from wood pulp. Sodium ascorbate, ascorbic acid, carrageenan. Again, that's that seaweed problem, like washes out your gut like detergent. Stevia leaf extract is fine. Artificial flavor, we don't know what that means. Thiamine hydrochloride, a lot of mystery things here. And I think I think we're golden from there on out with stuff that I don't know what it is, but there's enough stuff up here at the top of the ingredients list that is just straight toxic. That we just know that Boost is not good for anybody, but it's especially not good for diabetics, who it is most recommended for when it has 33 grams of carbohydrate in it, 15 of it is sugar, and 0 grams of it is dietary fiber. So like I said, the rest of it I call scary carbs. Unless they're calling it sugar alcohol, in which case, who needs to have 18 grams of sugar alcohol running through their blood at any time.
It's crazy that there's like 30 different ingredients in something that should be so simple.
It's just, you know what? I can make something just like this with like 4 ingredients.
Right?
Like I can make it with like heavy cream. Because this is only, I think it's like a 6 ounce. No, it's a 12 ounce bottle. No, it's an 8 ounce bottle. So it's like an 8 ounce bottle, which isn't that much. It's 1 cup, right? I can make that with heavy cream and some cocoa powder, a tiny bit of xanthan gum, and some erythritol, and it would be golden.
Really?
But yeah. So now we have this, because I just used to love these. Okay, I used to love these until later, if you know what I mean.
I do. I've done Atkins and South Beach, which are similar. Yeah. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
I used to love these until later. Yeah. Tony from Old Nerds Reviews was also messaging me on Instagram. Does sugar alcohol in general initiate a significant insulin response? It depends on the sugar alcohol. Again, I would recommend you check out Keto Connect's video on different artificial sweeteners. They do a pretty comprehensive thing testing ketones and blood sugars. There's no way at home, there's no test at home to measure your insulin response, but you could do it in a lab. But the glycemic index is to say how high your blood sugar goes, but it's hard to say. If you are insulin sensitive, your insulin is automatically lowering your blood sugars. So it's hard to say immediately, if it is spiking your blood sugar or your insulin so much. It's difficult to say even from a test at home. But there is a lot of studying going on with it, and a lot of people do report that their sugars go up with a number of different sugar alcohols, but some not others. So let's look at these. So we have 1 net gram of carbohydrate, 1 gram of sugar, which is undoubtedly that 1 gram. So let's look at our ingredients here. We have the chocolate coating, which is maltitol. That's our first ingredient, maltitol. Okay, unsweetened chocolate, cocoa butter, that's fine. Sodium caseinate, again, an inflammatory allergen of a milk protein. Milk fat, which we're not afraid of. Soy lecithin, inflammatory, soy problems. Sucralose. What's the problem with sucralose again, Kat?
Oh my God, it's so inflammatory. It's an artificial chemical. It's not a real sweetener.
They've basically taken sugar, the sugar molecule. They say it tastes like sugar because it's made from sugar. It is made from sugar. They take a sugar molecule and they replace one part of it and they turn it into a chlorine. So it basically kills off. It's like bleach in your gut.
Right?
Yep, that's what it is. So yeah, peanuts and corn oil. So corn oil is again inflammatory. Maltitol, which is your X-Lax. And then you have confectioner's glaze, carnauba wax. So what do you use carnauba wax for?
What the hell is that even?
Okay, okay, I'll go into it a little bit. Remember those wax lips that we used to get when we were kids as candy?
Yeah.
Okay, that was made from carnauba wax. It's an edible kind of wax. Okay. And there's beeswax in here, which is technically edible. It's not good for you. It's basically like eating crayons. But carnauba wax is also used for mustaches and hair spikies, and also for waxing your snowboard or your surfboard or your skis. Carnauba wax. It's also the main ingredient in Carmex. Titanium dioxide color, yellow 5, so a whole bunch of artificial colors that, because, we're talking about candies that are colored. Dory, please don't blast me, but, we know that there are natural alternatives. It's maybe not the best case scenario to be having artificial colors, but there are worse things that you could do than the artificial colors. In fact, the beginning of the ingredients list starts out with them all. So we'll just avoid these because I used to love these until later. And then we have the Atkins Vanilla Pecan Crisp Bar. Doesn't that seem like a quality thing right there?
Of course.
Doesn't it look like super wholesome?
Absolutely. I mean, I tried the Atkins diet, and that's the word diet.
Blazing asks,
eating a way of living, but yeah, no. It's gross.
Blazin asks, how bad is it to drink Coke Zero? And I would say there are worse things you could do. I would say it's not the best case scenario. On occasion, it's probably not completely evil, but they make me have the toots. So I'd rather just not. I think people.
I sent you pictures of my my Coke orange soda zero. That one.
Nice. I would say that people downwind from me appreciate when I don't drink Coke Zero. Let's just say that. Jackson says he's back. He just took a shower. Well, thanks for sharing that. And we're glad that you took a shower. People downwind from you appreciate that you took a shower. Corn syrup is one of the worst things she thinks, Teresa says. And yeah, okay, so let's look at this. This is the Vanilla Pecan Crisp Bar from Atkins. Protein blend, soy protein isolate. First ingredient, soy protein. Okay, soy being inflammatory, GMO, pesticides, blah, blah, blah. Whey protein isolate, that's going to be, or whey protein concentrate. That's also going to include some of the sugar from whey. And then milk protein isolate, which is going to be sodium caseinate, which is an inflammatory allergen protein. Whey protein isolate, which is known to cause stalls in some people. Soluble corn fiber. So that's a grain. Polydextrose, which is just sugar. Vegetable glycerin. Palm kernel oil, which is inflammatory vegetable oil. Almond butter. Coconut oil, which is great. And then we have sunflower oil, which is terrible. So we have something that's great, the almond butter. We have pecans that are awesome. So it's like
Right.
it's like a triple layer sandwich of awesome and horrible. It's like palm kernel oil, pecans, almond butter, coconut oil. Yeah, the coconut oil is great. Then sunflower oil, whey powder. So that's just whey that's been powdered. So that's the sugar byproduct of milk bacteria. Rice starch, which just turns to sugar, and yeah. So there we go. We have rice flour, toast fralls. That's fine. Then sucralose. So there we have that gut bleach.
Soy lecithin. Yep.
And soy lecithin. Yeah. All right. So let's look at some keto products because we said what's not keto. Let's look at some keto products, okay? And this is just mostly to say whether or not you need products at all, right? It's not to say that they're not keto. It's to say that maybe they're keto, but they're maybe terribly expensive because this bottle of MCT oil, which is just 16 ounces, is $20. Okay. For $20, I can get like an 84-ounce bottle or 84-ounce jar of just coconut oil. So if I'm
And
looking
what we
for
have
oil,
to keep in mind too is that ketogenic or the ketogenic way of eating was around way before all of these miracle products came out. The first tests on how it would affect health was around 1911, and then it became more mainstream.
that was on
In
epilepsy patients, right?
1920. Yeah, so these products didn't exist, and people still.
Yeah. You didn't have products like exogenous ketones and MCT oil being marketed to the keto community. What you had was somebody testing out coconut oil, which was pretty readily available, and like beef fat and stuff
Real
like
food,
that.
yeah.
Real food on butter on epileptics just to see what would happen. And boy, it seemed to get results with butter and bacon fat and beef fat.
Right.
And, yeah. So this is MCT oil. It's medium chain triglycerides. This is basically a concentrated MCT oil, which is basically like coconut oil minus the lauric acid. And so you have 14 grams of medium chain triglycerides. This is just solid fat, which is great. Okay. And the great thing about medium chain triglycerides is that they can pass through the blood-brain barrier and be used instantly by the brain for fuel. But it's kind of unnecessary because you can do the same thing with coconut oil for a whole lot cheaper and still feel satisfied and get healthy. I would say maybe if you are looking for some kind of therapeutic, if you're deliberately, like say you're an epileptic, right? And you need as many ketones as you possibly can get, then maybe this product might be something that would be great, but it's $20 for a 16-ounce bottle. And let me tell you something, you're going to go through 16 ounces like that. It's going to be like pronto. Here we go. Now, Nancy Childress covered this over in Keto for Real Life People. She talked about this product right here. Real ketones, patented and proven, supports carb-fighting diet, supports metabolism, and it's keto-friendly. It's 15 servings of a dietary supplement. Again, this is like $20 at Walmart. You mix 1 scoop with water with your favorite beverage and drink daily. So, Kat, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay, what do you think of ketone supplement?
It's bullshit. And
Wow.
I'm just going to say that straight up. It's crazy what has happened to the ketogenic way of eating and how it's presented today versus a little over 5 years ago when I learned about it. I attained ketosis without any of this garbage.
Yeah.
And everybody around me attained ketosis without any of this garbage. It's purely through food. This is just another marketing
Yep.
Because right now it's like all the rage, you know.
Yeah.
People think it's this newfound, oh my gosh, this wonderful diet, but it's been around for decades, and it's all through food. You don't need this stuff to attain ketosis. You don't need this stuff to attain good health.
So this is,
you don't need this stuff to lose weight. You need food.
so I want to clarify something else out in here too. Okay. So out of this, we have potassium, 1,000 milligrams. Okay. You need about, somewhere close to 3,500 to 5,000 milligrams of potassium a day.
Right.
To put that in perspective, you get a couple hundred milligrams out of a banana. So how many bananas would you have to eat? Probably somewhere close to 30.
But there are so many potassium-rich foods out there with your greens.
Yeah.
A lot of your greens.
A large avocado has 950 milligrams of potassium in it. You'd still have to eat a lot of them to get your full daily intake of it. You can get light salt. That gives you a lot of potassium. Now, if our soil was a little richer, we'd probably be getting a lot more potassium from raw vegetables. So that's a redeeming value here. You have 230 milligrams of sodium. Again, I've talked about sodium being an essential electrolyte, a lot more essential than people have given it credit for. Calcium, all this stuff. But down here at the very bottom here, what's the last thing we see on here? Sunflower oil powder. So there's 1,000 milligrams, 1 gram of sunflower oil powder, which is an inflammatory refined vegetable oil. Okay. And this is the 5 grams here. That's 5,000 milligrams of beta-hydroxybutyrate. Beta-hydroxybutyrate is the main ketone that the brain burns for fuel. So if you are keto, if you're a carb burner, it doesn't burn any of it. So you're a carb burner, your brain burns only glucose for fuel, never burns ketones for fuel. Your brain burns 600 calories all from glucose if you're burning carbs for fuel. So carb burners can't make any use of this because of 2 reasons. Number 1, their brain burns only glucose. And number 2, insulin is in the blood, so it prevents the body from using anything else for fuel other than sugar. So all of this stuff just ends up in the pee. And of course you pee out positive on a pee strip, and you'll test positive in a blood ketone test as well because you have 5,000 milligrams of beta-hydroxybutyrate that your body can't use. Then if you're a keto person, your body generates enough ketones that all that happens to these 5 grams of beta-hydroxybutyrate is you pee them out, just like everybody else. So yes, you'll test positive on a ketone test, but you would test positive on a ketone test, on a blood ketone test regardless, because you're keto and you're already generating enough ketones. So this product is just an expensive nonsense. Now, if you're an epileptic or someone else that is requiring extra amounts of ketones because your metabolism is using them up like that, then maybe something like this might be helpful if it didn't have sunflower oil powder in it.
Correct. Yep. But yeah, I mean, you're totally right. All these products that are out there and on the shelves, they're fooling people. The food industry fools people on a regular basis. They make the front of their packaging like amazing, like, oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, this looks like hardcore. Like this looks like I'm a man, right? So I'm like looking at this, I'm thinking, man, that's a man product, right? It's like a masculine, wholesome looking, rugged looking package, right? Rapid fire. This just makes me think
that's what they
man thing, right? Organic grass-fed butter, medium chain triglycerides, fair trade coffee. With Himalayan salt.
Who wouldn't pull that off the shelf?
Right.
I mean, who wouldn't? Amazing.
Okay,
right?
but except that it's like ridiculously expensive. But yeah, I mean, and I'm not joking. Like this is like super ridiculously expensive. Okay, so let's just go through the ingredients. Okay, now there's nothing in here. I'm going to point out that this one here doesn't have anything particularly terrible, except you have, we'll just look at this for 25 grams of dietary fiber. So yeah, maybe, yeah. Dietary fiber, not necessary in coffee. But let's just look at this, okay? So we have the Ketogenic Blend, which is coconut oil, butter, grass-fed butter, MCT oil. I have no problems with those things, except that they make the coffee super expensive. Then Rapid Fire Boost, which that's just a fancy name. It doesn't even actually belong in an ingredients list. But okay, we're specifying what it is, providing 150 milligrams of caffeine. Instant coffee, so basically you ban caffeine, anhydrous, and
what is that?
Organic coffee. Okay, that's just, I'm guessing it's a caffeine supplement, which I don't have a problem with that. Okay, I'm just being clear. Xanthan gum and Himalayan pink salt. So the xanthan gum, I'm going to tell you why the xanthan gum's there. Xanthan gum has a couple of cool properties. One of them is it allows water-based things and fat-based things to blend together. It's a binder. It allows fats and waters to, like water-soluble, hydrophilic, and lipophilic, to join together into one body. So it can make your coffee smoother. You'll find xanthan gum or gellan gum or guar gum in a lot of flavored coffee creamers. It makes the water part and the fat part join together. Xanthan gum is not particularly problematic, but the thing that you need to know is that they're using it for two reasons. One, it gets these fats and the coffee to join together. And secondly, it makes the coffee seem thicker. So giving the coffee some thickness makes it feel like it's got more body. It makes it feel more substantial. And so you feel like you're getting your money's worth. That's the ketogenic coffee from Rapid Fire. And I think, let's see. Yeah, this is the last one. Slim Quick Pure Weight Loss Protein. Designed for women. Kat, this is just for you. You can lose 3 times the weight. Doesn't that make you feel awesome?
Okay. Yeah, I'm so super not excited.
So I'm wondering, like, because usually, like, when you're multiplying something else, right? Like one thing by another thing. So 3 times the weight of what?
Exactly.
There's no asterisk there, okay? But you can lose 3 times the weight. I want to know if it's like, if I can lose 3 times my weight, right? So like if I weigh 168 pounds, can I lose 3 times that and weigh like negative 360 pounds or negative 320 pounds? Can I do that?
Right. It's so crazy because, we're all different and our bodies are all different, the way that we react to different ingredients and everything. And everybody in this day and age, they want that quick fix. And literally the food industry is going to put out that explosion, like, oh, you can lose all of this and blah blah blah, look how wonderful, and it's gonna save you and all that crap. And it is just crap.
This is our nutritional label here. We have total carbohydrates is 11 of that, 6 is dietary fiber, 3 is sugar. So automatically I would say this is just not keto, but let's go on. And aloe pure green tea.
And that's it exactly. Don't quit that looking at the, 5 net carbs.
Yeah.
You have to look at the actual ingredients before you make the choice to purchase that.
So whey protein concentrate here. That's going to be your, it's going to be the milk protein, but it's also going to have some sugar in it because it's got a whey in it. Pea protein isolate. So you're putting a legume in there. Although pea protein isolate is particularly not so problematic. It doesn't have the fatty acids, so you're not upping your omega-6 ratio. It's not particularly problematic, but if you're avoiding legumes entirely on principle, there you go. Polydextrose, which is a sugar. Skim milk powder, which is mostly lacking in all nutrition and has a lot of lactose in it. So that's milk sugar. So just think of skim milk powder as just milk sugar. And then you have cocoa natural flavors, which we don't know what that means. Guar gum, which is another, it's another not terribly problematic emulsifier like xanthan gum. It's usually most people don't have problems with it. Fiber sol digestion resistant maltodextrin. I think what they're saying is that we're taking a sugar and we're adding fiber to it and making it our proprietary blend so that people think that it doesn't turn into sugar. Okay. Silica. Oh, this is one that I find interesting. Okay, because silica is that stuff that you find in drysy air, right? So like you put it in your closet in a big container, and it soaks up all of the humidity in your air, and it drips it down, and it makes these little crystals into giant like watery beads, and it soaks up all of the moisture, right? And you put the little packets in your furniture box. You find the little packets in your furniture box, these bags of silica gel powder, and the silica gel powder absorbs water. So this is an anti-caking agent, but they just put it in the powder because, well, we just stick it in the powder so that it soaks up all the water and keeps all the other stuff from caking. But then what does it do when it gets in your gut? It does the same thing. It soaks up all the water. So it's just, it's not something that's meant for food. And in fact, if you ever seen those silica gel packets, what does it say right on the package? You ever see those? Like you get a bottle of aspirin, right? You get
do not eat.
What does it say? Say that again.
Do not eat.
That's what it says. It says do not eat right on the package. If you get those little silica gel packets, you know why?
Because it's poison.
It's not food. It's just.
Yes. It's gross.
You know why you don't eat your furniture? Kat, why don't you eat your furniture?
It's gross.
Because it's not food.
It's not food.
It's the same reason. You don't eat your steering wheel in your car because
it's not food.
It's not food. Thank you.
But we get all those little packets and our supplements or any kind of, you buy a bottle of Tylenol, it's in there. And it clearly says do not eat, but it's in there to, it's in there to not have those different capsules.
Yeah.
Compressed together, or
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
It just, yeah.
And Teresa says, how the hell do you actually know you've lost 3 times the amount of weight? And I'm like, 3 times the amount of what weight? Like, which weight? Like what? It's like, I read those labels that say 25% more free. Like hang on a second, 25% more free, 25% more than what? Is it like 125% of the previous size? Does that mean that you're getting, they just raised the price and now you're getting 25% of it free that you were now, but you're paying more expensive for the other 3/4? What is it? What does that mean? So this is one of those things. 3 times you lose 3 times the weight. I want to know what that means too. How the hell do you know? That's what I want to know. And there's no asterisk on there. Wait, lose 3 times the weight. Hang on. There's a little thingy.
3 times the weight of what?
There's a thingy there. What does that mean? Hang on. Let's see if is that on the back somewhere? 3 times the weight. Is it like 3 times the weight of a turtle? Is it like?
But and that's what the food industry does. The front of the package is that impacting. Oh my God! Look at how wonderful this is. We're sugar free. We are gluten free. Boom, boom, boom. Look at how wonderful we are, and that is a shame.
I want to show you this too.
It's awful. They push that, and that's, I mean, again, what's on the front of the package is what draws you in.
Now, I'm not a big fan of the regulations in the People's Republic of California, but here on the side of this, I'm not sure if you can read this, but I'll just turn this sideways because it's fun to turn things sideways live on the internet. And it says, this product contains a chemical known to the state of California to cause cancer, birth defects, or other reproductive harm. The lead level found in this product meets the federal safety standard set by the FDA. Note that California Proposition 65 standard for lead is far more stringent than federal, so it has a bunch of lead in it. More lead than Californians like. It's probably more lead than you like too.
You that nobody's turning the package over to read that shit. Because the front of the package is all about, oh my God, look at how wonderful this is.
Yeah.
And that's what draws people in. And they don't turn it over, and they don't understand, and they don't read what is actually in what they're eating.
So I think we have thoroughly shredded the products that are just not keto, and a couple of that are technically keto and maybe are just like stupid. But let's talk about what is keto, okay? Because we talked about what is not keto. Let's talk about what is keto. So what is keto is it consists of real food, mostly meat and vegetables. Okay, now there are going to be some vegans or vegetarians that are going to object to that. I would say that for you, that it's going to be mostly fat, and then moderate protein, and then low carbohydrate. So you're going to try to get healthy fats in, healthy fats that aren't inflammatory, healthy fats that are gonna bring your omega-3 to 6 ratio closer to 1 to 1. William Davis says that you need approximately a combined total of EPA and DHA omega-3 fatty acids of 3,000 milligrams a day. So when you look at a fish oil capsule or a krill oil capsule, and it says I have this many milligrams, look at how much EPA and DHA specifically that it has, not just the fish oil total, but the EPA and DHA. What is the combined total of that? And how much would it take for you to get up to 3,000 milligrams combined of EPA and DHA? Krill oil would run you into the bank for a new refinance on your house to try to pay for your krill oil if you were trying to get that amount out of it. Fish oil capsules can be a lot less expensive, and you can find those. On Amazon. If you're looking for those, then I have a link in my pinned post in BroBryceHealth. But I think that for the most part, we need to get our healthy fats from food. What do you think, Kat? What's your interpretation of what actually is keto, since we talked about what is not?
It's real food. It's whole foods. Working for chiropractors over the years, I have definitely worked with whole food supplements with a company that only caters to physicians. Oops, you hear that? They're getting a little crazy back there. Sorry about that, but
oh, I see. It's the kitty freak mobile back there.
Yeah, they're going. So, but yeah, whole foods is the way to go. Grow them your own if you can't. Don't depend on your Walmart and your big chains to get your ingredients. Look for local.
If you can get it, I would say.
Right. I mean, we all have our limitations.
Yep.
If you can get it, for sure, get it. If you can grow it yourself, go for it. I've just ordered my hydroponic garden device that it's going to be in the next few weeks. You don't have to dig into your ground to do it. There are so many other ways to do it. I've grown my own fresh vegetables and herbs in giant pots out on my patio. Live clean, eat clean. It's going to change your life, and it isn't just a weight loss thing. It's a mental thing. It's everything: physical, mental, emotional. Your life is going to totally change if you take the steps on this way of eating. And you don't have to do it all at once. It's just one step at a time. It's not difficult. It's really not difficult unless we tell ourselves it's difficult. We just need to go slow, take it easy, ease into it. We're here for all your questions. We're here to help you through your transition into a healthier way of living, not just eating, living.
Yep. Leonie's asking, I don't know where to start. So what foods do you recommend having in the fridge and cupboard to get started? So I would just have there is a comprehensive list and a basic instructions getting started thing in the pinned post in the group. So if you look that up, it is, I'll try to post a link to it in the description of this video, but the pinned post has links to the food list, which is straight out of the Why We Get Fat book by Gary Taubes. It's the basic instructions for getting started on keto with a real simple food list and simple instructions to get started. But I would say, you know what, meat, like fatty cuts of meat or fatty hamburger, bacon, sharp cheeses, real milk cheeses, you're not talking about processed cheeses. As few processed foods as possible. I would say get some leafy green vegetables, some cruciferous vegetables, get some cauliflower, get some broccoli. Those kinds of things are going to be great starters for your ketogenic journey. Start out with something simple. And I would say take products out of the equation. If you can, I mean, you know, a lot of us have to go it alone when we first start, and maybe we might bear witness to our relatives or friends that we live with, and maybe we might be able to change their habits. But in all likelihood, most of us start solo, and so, you know, getting the things out of the house is a big plus if you can, like cleaning out your cupboards and actually just getting rid of it. Get rid of grains, get rid of processed foods. Get rid of as many packaged foods as you possibly can. And I would say try to make it as easy on yourself as possible. Spend some time prepping food. I would say, you know, you can eat meat without prescription. You can eat eggs without prescription. I've seen people on keto eat as many as 20 to 30 eggs a day and still be keto. Eggs are almost like the perfect food. So fatty foods in the natural state. Yes, that's perfect, Leonie. That's a great, yes, you're doing it perfectly. Don't avoid fats. Don't avoid natural fats when your friends are all freaking out because of saturated fats and because you're eating the butter off of their plate. Lentils are a legume. They are a bean basically. So no. Lentils are starchy. If you have any questions, look at the carb count, like Google the carb count on anything. You can also get an app. You know, people have done it without apps for, you know, millennia. But I would say, you know, if you have questions about what the carb count is on something, you know, I typically tell people to get down below 20 grams of carbohydrate a day to start out, because that is a great way to induce ketosis. But, you know, maybe that's not particularly your goal. You may work your way down to it. But, you know, that food list, basically look at the food list and look at the keto food list that I have on my pin post. And if it's not on the food list, it doesn't go in your fridge. Think about it that way. I think we're running like super major long. It's now like, yeah, we ran like super.
Yo,
But there was a lot to cover, guys, and I thank you for your patience. I thank you for sticking with me, and I want to thank again. I want to give a big shout out to Vengeance over there on the YouTube side for moderating, and I want to give big thanks to that gadget girl Donna Lawrence over on the Twitch side for moderating, and I appreciate y'all taking the trolls out on the daily. And I want to thank Keto Crazy Cat Lady. I hope you guys will check her out over on Instagram. She's also a moderator over in My Colorful Keto Buddy Dory, that group. Check that out. Check out the comments here and find the links for the groups. And you should check those groups out because it's pretty fantastic. I've been networking with Nancy Childress over in the Keto for Real Life People group, with Dory over at the My Colorful Keto Buddy Dory group, Kat here, and then Keto Warrior Wendy is also, I believe her group is up in the links up above for the group. So y'all have a great night. I want to thank you for joining us. Sorry about the technical difficulties starting out, and I'm sorry for running so long, but holy cow, we had a lot of stuff to cover, didn't we, Kat?
we did. And it's going to be continuous. We're going to have a lot of stuff to cover.
Yep.
Going on.
And Kat, will you be coming back sometime soon?
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
I'm here.
Thank you guys so much for sticking with us, and you know what, Keto on. Make sure you check out that Magic Pill movie if you haven't checked it out. If you've stuck out this long to the end of this thing, just to listen to us babble on about crappy products for keto, you can sit down for an hour and a half with your family, with your friends, with your loved ones, and watch this major, compelling feature-length film on what could change your life forever.
Yes. Absolutely. Please watch this. This is, oh my God, this is life-changing for everybody, not just us, but for so many other people. Keto isn't about weight loss. It's about health and well-being. And yes,
you know, a lot of people come to it for weight loss, but let me say this, okay? The reason why it works for weight loss is because it fixes your health. So when your health is working normally, you gain and lose weight like a normal person whose insulin is functioning. Okay. You put on weight and you take off weight in the normal cycle of things that people naturally have. You go through cycles of losing weight and sometimes not losing weight, and sometimes losing weight completely rapidly, and other times holding on to some extra weight because of something your body's going through. And a lot of people say that's a cop-out, but the truth is, like, I lost 117 pounds. It didn't happen overnight. And I will say that there were times when, if I say this many times, if I stressed out every time I stalled for months at a time, I would still be inflamed from all the stress. So since I don't suffer from the chronic pain on the daily so much anymore, I think that's because I don't have inflammation. That's because I'm not sitting here stressing out about all the stalls. So that being said, y'all keto on. I'm going to get out of here, and you guys have a great night. Wait a minute. We got one more thing. Post a link for the magic pills, the people that don't have Netflix. Yes, I will post that in there. It is for rental on YouTube. It is for rental and purchase on Amazon. I will put those links in the description of this video, but it's also in a post in the BroBryceHealth group. And I would say this: if you find it out there on YouTube for free, don't watch that one.
No.
Don't watch that one, because it's a pirated copy, and we want to support the filmmakers who have made this film. You would go down to Redbox and pay $3-4 for, you know, some movies to watch that would not give you the kind of compelling, fulfilling, and absolutely mesmerizing message that's in this hour-and-a-half film. I would say bite the bullet. either purchase the DVD or purchase the rental or watch it on Netflix so that they get the credit for this film rather than some pirate that's just trying to monetize hits.
Absolutely. It's if you have a Netflix subscription, it's there. I watched it myself today. You have to do it. I don't care if you don't have Netflix. I don't care if you don't have the other stuff. It's a must-have. I don't care how much it costs.
And so far, 3 out of 3, Kat, me, and Wendy all bald at the end. So
yes,
prepare yourself, get your Kleenex. And you guys, I'm going to get out of here. I really am. I promise. I really am. And I'm cueing the outro here. Thank you, Kat, for joining us. And I hope to see you again really soon.
You know.
All right, y'all. Have a great day. If you haven't yet done it, hit that subscribe button down below on the YouTube, or follow me on Twitch. When you hit that subscribe button on YouTube, hit that bell notification icon. You will get a notification about any future brilliant thoughts that I have. And I hope that you will join us again real soon, next Sunday, 4 p.m. I promise. We'll have the technical difficulties. I'll actually restart my computer. Have a great night, and good night.
Turn. Not only cause she looks so hot, they can also feel the burn. The temperature is rising and the sprinklers turn on. That's how I saw it happen in my mind. It will come true though before long. I'm not blind, girl, I must confess. You could scorch muffins if you touch them when you wear your evening dress. I need a glass of water, I need fresh air. I tried to get some loving, but the room is like an oven when you're in here. Where there's smoke, there's fire, that's what I was taught. And you prove the theory very clearly when you look so smoking hot. With the fireproof gloves on, maybe we could touch. But I've learned that I don't wanna be burning you away too dangerous. I'm not blind, girl, I must confess. You could scorch muffins if you touch them when you wear your evening dress. I need a glass of water, I need fresh air. I tried to get some loving, but the room is like an oven when you're in here. Yeah. I'm not blind, girl, I must confess. You could scorch muffins if you touch them when you wear your evening dress. I need a glass of water, I need fresh air. I try to get some loving, but the room is like an oven when you're in here. I try to find an exit, but that weren't more so clear. I can't get too close to your flame because I might just disappear. It's common these days.